What's up, my friends? How's everybody doing today? Where do I start on a subject like this? Being a human, you know, it's something we just have to take for granted because, well, there's no other option. At least for most of us. Maybe a few of you weren't born a human. I don't know. But it's a very difficult endeavor trying to navigate this life once you have a certain grasp on the deeper concepts and some of the existential dread that we often have when we start to think about the deeper implications of what it means to exist. I mean, that's the very root of the word existential crisis. It's an existence crisis. It has to do with your existence, your very being upon this planet. It's when you step back and after perhaps whether it be a really long night of tripping hard or just a kind of breakthrough epiphany, or what you might call a satori experience in the middle of the day. Regardless, there are these little moments which cause us to step back and really assess what we think we know, and but it goes so much deeper than knowledge, or let's say a lot of folks might get into the existential dread of religion, or whether or not there's a heaven, or a hell, for lack of a better description, I guess. And one line of thinking might be that heaven and hell are created right here on earth, and it's up to us. It's how we perceive this existence. But arguing that back and forth with people who believe that it's a real place, that's not really the point I'm getting at here. What I'm trying to say is it's not about existence outside of this life that I'm talking about, nor whether or not there are demons or angels or entities, or how large a conspiracy is to dominate the world. What I'm rather talking about is day-to-day operations of being a human. What are we supposed to be doing? You know, even if you already have a full belief system, and let's say you're a Christian and you believe you're going to heaven and you believe that the Bible is the Word of God. Let's just use that as an example. It doesn't mean that a Christian's just going to have a simple life and follow the Word of God and say, okay, everything's just fine. There are going to be moments of crisis and moments where a person's going to say, well, what does the Bible say about whether or not I should take this job or this job? Or what does the Bible say about whether or not I should raise my kids this way or this way? And we really try to kind of grasp these concepts based on what we've been told and what we've seen others do, where they've failed, where they've succeeded. And we try to build our own foundation on that. And as I've described it before and heard the metaphor a million times, it's like building your own temple. Building your own temple requires a good foundation. That means every cobblestone is in place. You know, every brick is laid perfectly. If you make one mistake when you're building a house, the whole thing can fall down. And so the foundation really is the most crucial part of the structure. And even with a good foundation, if there's a large enough earthquake, it's going to mess your structure up. And that's what life does to us. It throws earthquakes at us. It throws moments of dread, moments of confusion, moments of fury, you know, and these emotions that we carry with us, regardless of their primal nature and how they helped us survive, or whether there's some divine gift to feel love and understanding, or they're just neurochemical soup to help us exist. None of that really helps us answer the question of what should I be doing right now? And I guess I'm speaking about career, about love, about art, whether you're an artist, if you're following your dreams, following your path. For example, you know, I kind of beat myself up because, you know, I've been kind of struggling lately trying to figure out where I want to go, what direction, how to make an income, make a living, feed my family, you know, do these basic things that we're supposed to do as humans. But I feel like I could do those things fine in an area where I felt like I was appreciated, where I was with the community, where I appreciated others, and you know, but I'm stuck where I'm stuck. This is the reality we're stuck in. In other words, we can sit and point the finger at the world and we can say, this is messed up, this is messed up. It doesn't change the fact that we're still here. We're still trying to, you know, make it work for us. So I guess what I would say, if I were to like try to consolidate this into a message, it would be to ride the river, ride the current. And my two favorite metaphors in life are as I said, the building of this temple, which means having a good foundation for your life and what you believe and what you think, how you act, behave, but also the river. Your temple is floating in a river. You know, perhaps we should call it a houseboat. Perhaps you're building a houseboat going down a river, and but you can't really build a foundation when you're in water. So anyhow, our personal journey in life is akin to a river, in the sense that sometimes the current's fast, it just pulls you along, there's nothing you can do. Other times it's a little bit more calm, and perhaps you can get closer to shore or decide to choose which direction you want to go. Once in a while the rapids are so hardcore that the best you can do is just dodge rocks. But sometimes we get stuck in an eddy. A little pool where we're just spinning in circles and we're not going anywhere. And that's the best part, the best metaphor for the river, for kind of where we end up in life. We're not sure what we should be doing, so we spin in circles. And meanwhile, like for me, thinking that I should be doing other things or building this great, you know, legacy, a foundation, income, whatever you want to call it, and at the same time I see these guys who are totally focused on what they want to do, their goals, they're goal-oriented, and they struggle through years of being completely broke, the starving artist syndrome, and they work towards one book or one painting. You know, I want to be a painter, I want to be a writer. Like I was watching a video this morning by a guy named Mark Dreams. He's a younger guy, and he was saying he makes videos on YouTube. He said he wants to write books, and he's in the middle of writing 2 books, but he never really learned how to spell properly. He never passed a spelling test, and he doesn't have proper punctuation and all these things. But the fact that he's working towards it, in spite of that, that's the strength. That's what it's all about. I have perhaps an opposite problem, in the sense that I was in a spelling bee when I was in like 4th grade. I have absolutely amazing English skills and editing skills and speaking and writing skills, which, I mean, that may sound arrogant, but I've been told that my whole life. And so I say, well, instead of going, oh shucks, well, I can't write that well, just say, well, how do I utilize this to make it work for me? And so my thing is that I have the skills, but I have a hard time consolidating my time and making it work, but really just finishing. For me, completion is the hardest thing about these life choices and life paths. That I start something and I'm really into it, and then it just sits on the shelf for a while, and I think, how do you properly finish this? And that's why sometimes you have to just let go and say, good enough. As a musician, I play bass, guitar, whatever, you name it, I'll try to play it. I've been writing some songs lately, and one of my dreams in life has been to make an album by myself. And so the other day I wrote this like quick little rap song and kind of uploaded it to my Patreon thing as a joke. I was going to put it on YouTube. I'm like, no, this is horrible. It's a one take. It doesn't have any finalizing or editing. But the reason why I finished it anyway was because I said, well, otherwise it's just going to sit as another digital file on my my digital recording studio and never be played, never be shared. And I'd rather share an unfinished song or an unfinished painting than sit around waiting for it to be finished when it might never be. So hopefully we can all inspire each other to finish our projects and to, I don't know, if you know somebody in your life who you feel really has talent, really has something to give and to share, give them props for that and really encourage people. People need to be encouraged. As much as people may seem arrogant or stubborn and think that they're the greatest, often the people who seem that way really are the most hurting inside. We tend to reflect the image that we think we should reflect, and it's often in direct opposition to the way we actually feel. So I guess my message, and the reason why I'm doing this is to encourage people to follow their passions, follow their dreams, try to do something in this life that works for you, that makes you feel good, because even if that's just having children or raising good kids, even if that's just being responsible and consistent in the way you are. In other words, even if you have no passions or talents beyond yourself, you can work on yourself as a palette. You can be your own painting. You can try to be the best person you can. And I think we need encouragement, because there are a lot of people who tend to see that in others, and instead of saying good job, they say, oh yeah, that's not the way to live. And that comes down to the finger pointing. So follow your heart, right? But just don't let it lead you astray, I guess. So those are my thoughts. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to y'all later. Be well. See if I can turn this new camera off. Got my new Sony camera here that I found at Goodwill, and it seems to work pretty well. This is the first video I've made on it, so we'll see if it even downloads or uploads. Later.